Madge one day. Our children and grandchildren only. No ancestral traditions from old photos on the internet. They have never seen gotong royong building a house. They have never heard the fairy tales that used to be told by grandparents on the porch of the house. They have never felt the togetherness that was born from a tradition that has been passed down from generation to generation for hundreds of years. The progress of the times does bring many benefits. Technology makes life easier. Information can be accessed in seconds. The world is becoming more connected. But behind all that progress, there is something that slowly disappears without much being noticed. Something that has been an identity, and the root of people's lives. Namely, tradition and local wisdom. The question is, if all those traditions are gone, will we still be the same nation? Or will we just become a modern society that has lost its own cultural roots? It's not entirely their fault, because the world is changing very fast. Social media, the internet, and digital technology have changed the way humans live, learn, and interact. But changes that are too fast often make old values considered irrelevant, even though it's not necessarily like that. One of the most obvious examples is the gotong royong culture. In the past, when there were residents who built a house, all the neighbors came to help. There is no payment. There is no employment contract. All there is a sense of togetherness. People believe that helping others is a social investment that will one day return to themselves. Now, that culture is starting to decrease. Many jobs are completed professionally with a wage system. It is more practical. But social relationships that used to be very close slowly began to stretch. Another example is the tradition of deliberation. In many regions, every problem is solved through joint discussion. Everyone was given a chance to speak. The goal is not to find out who wins, but to find the best solution for all parties. Today, many decisions are made quickly, without a deep process of togetherness. As a result, the sense of belonging towards the environment and community is decreasing. Local wisdom is also seen in the way people preserve nature. Many traditional tribes have special rules that prohibit indiscriminate tree felling. There are forest areas that are considered sacred, so they should not be destroyed. Although it sounds simple, these rules actually help maintain the balance of the ecosystem for hundreds of years. But when modernization came, many traditional rules were considered old-fashioned. The exploitation of natural resources is increasing. The forest was cut down. The river is polluted. And nature, that used to be guarded with full respect, began to be damaged. Ironically, modern science now proves that many of these traditional practices have great benefits for the environment. It means our ancestors have understood something that has just been realized by the modern world. Oral tradition is also one of the legacies that is threatened to be lost. In the past, folklore, legends, and life advice were passed down through word of mouth. Children gathered to listen to stories that are not only entertaining, but also contain moral value. Today, most of the time is spent in front of the screen. Folklore loses competition with digital content that comes non-stop. If not documented, many of these stories may be lost forever. Likewise, with traditional games, children used to play together in the field. They learned to work together, compete healthily, and build friendships. Now, many games are replaced by digital devices. Technology is not wrong, but when all activities move to the virtual world, direct social interaction becomes less and less. What is more worrying is the loss of the local language. In many regions, the number of local language speakers continues to decrease. Children use national languages or foreign languages more often. Language is an important part of cultural identity. When a language becomes extinct, a society's unique way of looking at the world is also lost. The progress of the times does not really have to be the enemy of tradition. The problem arises when we assume that everything that is old is definitely useless, even though there are many traditional values that are actually very relevant for modern life. Gotong royong teaches solidarity. Deliberation teaches democracy. The tradition of protecting nature teaches sustainability. Folklore teaches morals and character. These values are still needed to this day. It may even be more needed than before, because the modern world faces many new challenges. Loneliness increases, weakened social relationships. Environmental damage is getting wider. In conditions like this, local wisdom can be a very valuable source of solutions. Fortunately, there are still many people who are trying to preserve the tradition. There is a community that documents the local language. There is an art group that teaches traditional dance to the younger generation. There are schools that are starting to introduce local culture to students. Technology that was previously considered a threat can also be a preservation tool. Video, social media, and digital platforms can be used to introduce culture to the world. Many traditions are now internationally known. They are promoted through the internet. This shows that tradition and modernity can actually go hand in hand. We don't have to choose one and leave the other. We can become a modern society without losing our cultural identity. We can utilize technology while maintaining ancestral heritage. The most important thing is awareness. Awareness that tradition is not just a thing of the past. Tradition is part of the future, because in it there are experiences, knowledge, and life values that have been tested by time. In the end, the progress of the times is something that cannot be stopped. The world will keep changing. Technology will continue to develop. But in the midst of all those changes, we need to ask ourselves, what do we want to bring to the future? If local traditions and wisdom are lost, we may become more modern, but we are also at risk of losing our identity. Because a great nation is not only a nation that is technologically advanced, but also a nation that is able to maintain its cultural roots. So maybe our task today is not to choose between tradition or modernity. Instead of finding a way for the two to walk together so that future generations do not only inherit advanced technology, but also inherits the wisdom that has been preserved by ancestors for centuries. Because a strong future is always built on strong roots.